listening to the Pharmacy Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Holistic Pharmacy Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Marina Buksov, holistic health coach, clinical herbalist, and functional medicine pharmacist, or just holistic pharmacist for short. I'll be sharing inspiring stories of my guests who have shifted into holistic modalities, both personally and professionally. My co-host, Dr. Jenna Carmichael, will be joining me to lead the Journal Club episodes to share an evidence-based approach to holistic and herbal medicine. I'm so glad you're here and hope you enjoy the show. The age-old Hippocratic saying that all disease begins in the gut is proven time and time again in practice. It is one of the greatest legacies that he bestowed upon the medical field, along with the Hippocratic Oath to do no harm. So today, my guest and I will explore how the gut can have a hand in every disease state and also can be a therapeutic target to promote health. Dr. Ina Melamed is a doctor of pharmacy, a functional medicine practitioner, an expert in gut and hormone health, and a Crohn's patient in remission. Her career started as a traditional pharmacist, and her mission later became to heal herself and help others with chronic gut and hormone problems. She became certified in functional medicine, clinical training with Dr. Daniel Kalish. In December of 2017, she earned her PharmD Doctor of Pharmacy degree from one of the top pharmacy schools in the U.S., University of Florida, graduating cum laude, to broaden her clinical knowledge and incorporate that into her functional medicine practice. Since opening her practice, Real Health Solutions, she has helped thousands of clients with their IBD, digestive problems, hormone imbalances, and other chronic conditions that could not have been resolved by traditional medicine alone. Dr. Ina successfully incorporates her extensive knowledge of functional medicine into every case that comes into her practice. She's the creator of the signature Digestive Reset program, Digestive Reset supplement line, which has helped numerous clients virtually and in person. She lives with 3 sons in Manalapan, New Jersey. So without further ado, let's welcome her to the show. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Holistic Pharmacy Podcast. I have with me today a very special guest who I recently met on LinkedIn. Her name is Dr. Ina Melamed. She's a pharmacist and a gut health expert. So I'm super excited to hear about her journey and how she got started working as a health coach and what she does now and how she's built a successful clinical practice. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing the information that people really need. Thank you for being invited. Glad to be here.
Yes, my pleasure. So Dr. Ina, the first thing I would love to ask you, which I ask every guest on the show, is really how their journey got started. How did you become a pharmacist? Where did you grow up? Tell us sort of the quick background story.
Wow, quick. Do we have a couple of days? All right. I came from Ukraine originally, settled here in New York before New Jersey, and pharmacy school was a no-brainer because I wanted to do something health-related since I was little. I was contemplating between medical school and pharmacy school. Decision was made, and I was thrilled. I was really happy. I felt lucky to be doing what I'm meant to do, healthcare, be helping people, relieving them of pain. Little did I know that I'd become a patient early enough. And I've gotten Crohn's disease, initially diagnosed with ulcerative colitis in 2000, and 2003 was my diagnosis of Crohn's. And my journey, I call Journey with Crohn's disease, started. I was one of those patients that did not get full relief of medications. I don't know if my journey would have been the same. I don't know if I would have been here if medications completely got me back, got my energy back, and I was able to spend the time with my boys and be the energetic mother I wanted to be. But it didn't. Medications caused me to be exhausted and did not really relieve me of the symptoms. symptoms were severe. I was like practically bedridden for first full year. And I was looking for ways to heal. I looked into various different methods. Nutrition was the first one. Some changes. Well, remember, it's 2003. Gluten-free, people look at you like you have two heads. Not a lot of information online at all, like practically nothing. I looked through different modalities, homeopathy, different types of actual physical therapies, manual therapies, massage, lymphatic. I looked through herbalism, which at that time also there was just the one or two options. And again, I'm thrilled that you're doing herbal medicine because that really should be done by a pharmacist. Herbs are potent, there's mechanism of action, there are drug interactions, it has to be looked only by a pharmacist. So if a specialist like you can do this, it's incredible we're lucky to have you. And I looked into really different ways to heal. I went for spiritual healing to see John of God in Brazil. A lot of different interesting things. And then I found functional medicine. That was, as I was healing already, that really, truly was that cherry on top of the cake for me. And I started sharing my information. I wrote my very first website called Journey with Crohn's Disease in 2008, 2009 about, and my first clients came to me asking for help. And I wasn't even sure this was going to become something I'm going to do full time eventually, and is going to be my mission. I took on the clients more and more from the website, and that's how my journey as a clinical practitioner doing this functional medicine work, which I love. That's like, I could talk about gut health. And then a few years in, the gut microbiome concept came up. My God, mind blowing. And then I decided, you know what? Most of my clients call me Dr. Ina. I didn't have my doctorate degree then because finished 96. I had the bachelor's. I went to University of Florida, finished that doctorate degree, was very proud because everyone comes out with a PharmD nowadays. I was very proud of my PharmD at the time. Plus, what I thought was incredible was the fact that my paper, capstone paper for that final doctorate paper, was on probiotics for Crohn's. It literally was like my mission. My gastroenterologist in 2000 to 2003, the one I went to, he laughed at me when I mentioned probiotics for Crohn's. Well, I could still remember that laugh. So, that paper was kind of like, here we go. 2017, I graduated. It was 14 years later, but here's the proof. They do work. And that's how I fully transitioned to this full time right after getting my doctorate degree. And majority of my clients are Crohn's and colitis patients, but I do have people that come in with hormone issues. My second book was more on gut and hormone balance. And that's basically the quick snapshot. I could have give you more details, but maybe for another podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many points which you shared that I feel like are so common, right, in our industry and dealing with people who are sick and are taking medications and they don't have that, final amazing healing resolution. And I would actually be surprised if I did find somebody that was just able to fix, quote unquote, fix something of a health issue with one or more drug, pill, solution, et cetera, or even a supplement or even an herb, right? Mm-hmm. It's such a complex, multi-layered, multifactorial, whole body, right? That holistic picture of a person. And even the World Health Organization, right, defines health as
not just, physical and not just the absence of disease. It's really like that trifecta of physical, spiritual, and mental health. And again, it's just so multifaceted that it's almost funny now that I kind of look at it to expect that one pill or any singular approach is going to be that one magic solution. And what we're seeing is it's really just more like a band-aid if we don't address the root cause, if we don't understand what are all these factors that are adding up to this picture, like what is going on and what's the history, and really assessing all the little pieces of the puzzle and allowing that person to experience healing on their own terms and in their own process and way. It's just really a lot more of that art of healing rather than, okay, just following this specific protocol and guideline and paint by the numbers and everything will be fine. That's just not realistic now that I am also getting seasoned and maturing. It's just, looking at this pharmacy model, it's really there to fill a gap, but it's not there to catch everybody.
Right. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing that you're mentioning, looking at the health as multifactorial approach. We often, if we are busy in a pharmacy, I remember I just saw that article with the pharmacist at CVS, what happened. When you are that busy, you are not providing the care that people really need right now. It's hope. I'm really hopeful that it's changing already as we speak. I'm seeing some things change. I was the pharmacist that did not get the break, and people now, thankfully, it's mandatory. So we're getting somewhere, really not fast enough, not at all. But some of the physicians are also understanding the concept of root cause versus patching the symptoms. Still not a lot. Again, it's all about educating. Even physicians, how much of the nutritional courses are they getting? How much of the understanding of a root cause? It's all about specialties. Wonderful. We need that. But sometimes it takes an extra 30 minutes to get the aha moment at the session. And okay, that's when this happened. That trip you took when you were under stress, and that was an exotic vacation. Maybe there's some kind of parasite there. Though that comes usually from spending more time with your patient.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you're speaking about advocacy work for our profession, which I agree is 100% needed. And also the role and the scope and all of these questions up in the air about like what we're there to do and how do we do it productively and proactively. And the same thing with when you are a patient, right? When you're on the patient side of things. So if you could share a little bit about your personal healing story with us and our audience about, what made you seek that solution in the way that you approached it. And if you could share about what ultimately was maybe like the number one clinical pearl you could share about looking back, like what you would recommend for people to seek first.
I think it's a really great question. I think a lot of it would be individual based. So I'm going to give you my perspective and what happened to me personally. Some people will have their own different story, hopefully with a great outcome as well. What happened to me, I took the medications. I was like, okay, I have this diagnosis. I was diagnosed. Great practitioner, good doctor diagnosed me. I trust medicine. I was given the medications, and I did not experience the relief, maybe to a degree. I took heavy-duty medications. There were tons of side effects. I had, at that time, as a very young kid and a newborn. I needed energy. I needed to be able to spend the time with them, to be a good mother, to be a good wife, to be able to work and do what I love. I figured I need to try other things. So nutrition was first, and then I tapped into supplements and nutraceuticals. And scary, I made a choice, which I'm not recommending today, to go against medical advice and stop myself from medications. It's not something I even tell my clients. I think it's really important to be able to be in full remission before discussing with your doctor getting off the medication fully and completely. But I've seen that happen a lot. And in my case, I stopped the medication. That was my personal decision. And I went, because I was already feeling better, on certain nutraceuticals that were anti-inflammatory, that helped my nutritional status, which was depleted for many other reasons. And once I started getting better, I did not just have hope, I had realistic results, and I had trust in this work. Because also, if you're working with someone that does not believe this is going to work, it's that much harder to get to be better, to get to a great outcome. So if you do find, the key is also, see, this is an excellent point, finding the practitioner you trust, someone that already had whether the experience with others like you and got them the outcome, or someone you trust because of education, because of other things, or you just like feel the connection, which is huge. When you're looking for a practitioner, even your doctor, you need to have the connection. If you live in the office constantly, like your shoulders are down, like you feel like you've been, excuse me, like you've been pressured in some kind of way or put down in a certain way, maybe it's time to change a practitioner, your physician. Maybe it's time to find someone that understands your case and can level with you. Because yes, we do have certain protocols. They're great, they work. But understanding each individual case and their emotional status is huge for gut health. Emotions and gut health, it's so connected.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that idea that I think we talked about before, is the individualized approach. And you mentioned it already in this podcast, that that's kind of where the coaching toolkit comes in, because we weren't necessarily taught this set of skills in pharmacy school, right? We're taught exactly what our duty is and what the guidelines are and what the protocol is. And, you know, we have these variety of settings that we can use our specific skill set towards. So I'd love to know, like, for you, what was it like to develop, you know, this additional whole set of tools as you were sharing your story and as people were coming to you? How did you gain the confidence that you would be able to help them? And then how did you help them?
Yes, that's an excellent question. And that was, besides me feeling better, besides me helping others, I took an excellent course Dr. Kalish offered at the time. It was 2008, 2009. I think I graduated in 2010, and I stayed on with him. Because in order to learn functional medicine, it's truly not enough to grasp the concepts of it. I was really lucky because I didn't just do community pharmacy. By then, I already had over 10 years of experience with lab work, working as a consultant in a nursing home as well. So I was doing that part-time. I love geriatric care. The little changes I was able to make in their lives, I loved it all. But again, you're so limited in that scenario. So all that experience as a pharmacist, as a community pharmacist, seeing people with all kinds of condition and getting them, because they come and talk to you and they actually explain, rather than computer prescription comes in, you never see the face. So then the labs and all this experience. Then I had Dr. Kalish, who I worshipped. I loved his course, and I stayed on with him. I stayed on with him for many, many years on clinical rounds, once a week, to share with other practitioners, to bring on my cases, because it gives you that confidence. It gives you that experience. The moment you practice something, you learn something and do it for this many hours, for this many patients, for this many great outcomes, that's when the confidence comes. And I stayed on with Dr. Kilish's clinical rounds for a while, eventually feeling confident enough that I'm spreading my wings, I'm doing it on my own. And at some point, I was giving my training to other practitioners. I am onboarding this year a new set of skills, and a little different this time. I'm going to train in a group setting. That's coming up this year, along with other plans.
Beautiful. Yeah, we'd love to hear all about that. If you want to share that towards the end. So what I'd love to hear, and what I did hear, is that the mentorship, it's learning under the wing of somebody else that also is getting amazing results for their own clients and has that clinical background, and you creating that almost like a shortcut for yourself where you're learning from somebody else and from their clinical experience. And I also like to say from their mistakes as well, right? Like you don't make as many mistakes perhaps, or, you have that opportunity cost savings if you're learning from somebody else. And that's exactly what we did in pharmacy school that gave us our confidence to get the PharmD. We had a certain amount of APs and APs and clinical hours. And certainly being an intern and doing all the functions of the pharmacist is that like mentor model. And then, like you said, to become a master at anything, it does come down to the reps, right? Like the amount of reps that you put in and the number of hours that you dedicate, it all adds up. And so I think that's something that, again, many people think like, oh, there's this magic shortcut perhaps. And to an extent, the mentorship model is a shortcut, and yet you still have to dedicate and put in the work and the hours to get these kind of outcomes.
Very true. Very true. I love that you said that, putting in the effort and interest. And when I jumped in to the world of functional medicine with Dr. Kalish, I got at that time, I don't think it was even the flash, whatever it's called. It was paper and pen still. And I was excited. And I already ordered my first functional testing kits for myself. Then it was for my sister. Then it was for my relatives. Then I was so excited. Yeah, it's important to get your feet in it.
Yeah. And again, you're saving that effort and that time, right? You're propelling your success and your progress. And in many cases, that does require another resource, which is money, right? So you probably invested in this and you invested in the testing, and you put the time and the money and the effort in. So I think a lot of people, who want to do something different with their pharmacy degree, or just put their skills to use in a different way, not just, maybe they don't even use the license part of it, but they often wonder, like, what is the risk to benefit, right? We always assess that with patients as well. So it's like, is it going to pay off, right? That's the question on everybody's mind. So if you could maybe share as to like your rationale as you were investing in this stuff, and what you hoped would be the outcome, and then what was the outcome?
Oh wow. It's in the question is real. This is me now, more practical, older, wiser, understanding finances more, and me in my 30s, where I'm not sure how your pharmacy school went, but again, there was no financial education, not for our parents, not for my generation, clueless. So that concept comes whether from the family, or it comes from maybe your surroundings, friends, or people that are successful around you or not. For example, I'm gonna just mention food. Because food is everything. Whatever you put in your stomach, that's what you get out of it. People think that that's their opportunity to save, not on a mortgage, not on a car, but on food. Food needs to be about 80% of your expenses, because this is your life. This is your energy. This is your quality of life. Now we're living to this many years. That number is really scary. It's super scary that we stopped getting older. So we're living at a certain age, but the quality of life at the end of life is it something that you'd like it to be, or do you want to have an amazing quality of life? And again, food would matter, whatever you put in, like literally gas station. So expensive gas goes to take you a long way. I am pro spending the money on nutrition. I am pro spending the money on your spiritual growth, on your children education. Thankfully I was raised in a family that valued that tremendously. So I consider myself very lucky. For people that did not grow up in that, they can have a great support group or get themselves new friends, people that are successful and treat their body as something sacred. And anything that goes into the body, on on your skin, it cannot be something you save on. Everything else you can. You could cut other expenses.
I love that. Yeah, because whether you realize it or not, you're making decisions and choices every day, and you're prioritizing things over other things. And everything that we do comes with a hidden or not a hidden cost. So some people don't realize it once again. However, when you really sit back and reevaluate or go over it with a mentor or a coach, you could really start to understand like what are the priorities, what's important, how do we actually get creative solutions to people's challenges. And I think that's really that individualized work that we talked about, because we can have a protocol, but not everybody's going to receive or be able to follow that protocol. And we really, really have to customize it and meet people where they are at. And so I really, on this topic of challenges, would love to hear from you as you were building, this new skill set and building this new career path for yourself. What was the biggest challenge for you and how did you overcome it?
The biggest challenge for me to open up this practice was a fear that this is outside of the scope of my practice. And I've worked with attorneys to make sure to protect myself, and every word that we say, every word everything that we do has to be really within the realm. And originally, I'm not sure how many functional medicine practitioners there were when I started, probably a handful in this country. And it was scary, when you start something, when you're a pioneer, you start something new, and it just. But I felt like I can make such a difference, for such a big difference for someone's life, and fear of what might happen, which I did for the benefit of a human life. That's. You can't weigh those things. So, scary. It was very scary, but I was willing to help people more than that fear. Thankfully, I think I opened up some doors for other pharmacists not to be fearful, because truly, all I heard from my peers was, "You crazy? Are you crazy? What are you doing?" Thankfully, now there's a whole bunch of us that put the patient's health as a priority.
Yeah, I love that. And when you pave the way, it becomes easier to follow in your footsteps, and people can set precedents and such. And so I really commend you on that and applaud you. And one final question that I'm curious about, and I myself get a lot of questions about, is about the testing piece, right? Like, how important is the functional labs or the regular labs to your practice? And do you think, there's like a minimum amount of testing that you'd like to see in order for you to help a patient?
That is extremely individual based, but since I am a gut health expert, of course, stool, good, amazing stool test would be important as a priority. But I often would like to see other testing as well. Adrenals are very important. That is something worth your money to invest in. I know that there are other pharmacists that do not believe in food sensitivity testing. There's like that we split in that opinion. And I started very early enough to see what food sensitivity testing can do. I was on the same level with doing the test originally. Then, oh my goodness, everything that they're currently eating is showing up on IgG. So maybe it's not worth it. I dropped it in early 2000s, early even 2010s, teens. And then I understood one thing. If there is a missing gap in healing, and even if it's because of leaky gut, that IgG reaction, but knowing turkey that they're eating or chicken that they're eating on daily basis or every other day causing an inflammatory response and removing it, that's great. Yes, it's still in my book right now, with the studies, with my experience, I recommend food sensitivity testing for people where there's still a big question mark.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing that clinical gem with us. I think it's very important that we share notes, and sort of understand what's working now currently and understand that there's different styles and we can choose to work, in specific ways. But I always like to get kind of an overview of what people are doing. And so one final piece that I did want to ask as far as like patient outcomes and expectations is like the timeline, right? Like what is the average time, would you say, you typically work with clients?
My shortest program is 3 months because, again, this is based on me working for so long, and I've never seen a result under 3 months. So that would be my shortest. And then I offer to all of my clients stay on longer. They stay on monthly basis or whichever way they'd like to continue. I've offered at some point a year-long programs, which worked out really nicely. But again, you have to see if it's a chronically ill patient post chemotherapy, and they'll need a lot of detox. They'll need a lot of testing on chemicals, food sensitivities, metals, and other things. You could predict it would take much longer. So, and if it's more cost effective for them, which I always offer if they pay for a longer program, then definitely would be beneficial for them and beneficial to a practitioner. You know that you constantly communicating with that person and constantly on top of on what's going on with them versus this client comes in and out a year later to a year, you lose what's going on. It's that connection is important.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I want to thank you so much for sharing all of your personal and professional journey with us. And I'd love to do like a 1-minute rapid fire round with you.
So I'm not sure what that is, but let's do it.
Okay, so I'll just ask you a couple of questions and you just answer the first thing that pops into your head. So the first question, which I also love to ask my guests, is what is the number one thing that you would give as an advice for somebody to improve their quality of life right now?
Move as much as you can. Start with 10,000 steps per day.
Love it, love it, love it. And it's so easy now with trackers and watches and phones. If you carry a phone, you can do this, you can track it. Yeah. Love that. Okay, so question number 2 is, what's like a fun fact or something surprising about you that most people may not know?
Surprising fun fact about me. Oh, I love theater. I'm not sure how surprising that is, but I could go to theater probably every weekend. I won't get tired of it. Like I could live in the city if that's something surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have known that. It's funny because my husband says he hates musicals, but then he like quotes musicals all the time and is always singing. So I'm
There
like,
we
I
go.
bet you secretly love musicals.
Yes, closet case.
All
Theater is
right.
great.
Yeah. So last fun little question. What is your favorite meal to cook or eat?
One of my favorites, I would say, would be a warm breakfast bowl. And yes, it sounds a little extravagant, I guess, for some people, but my family knows I love it. So I cook my quinoa nice and soft. I add pickled beets in there. And for more protein, quinoa has some protein, but obviously not enough for breakfast. I cook quail eggs for that protein and some avocado for the quality fat. Yeah, I know, but that's mine. Well, the aroma from pickled beets, you get your quality protein, nice and healthy. So good. And
Yeah.
warm for breakfast.
You're getting all the colors in there, the antioxidants, and
Yeah.
powerhouse of nutrients. And really, why limited to breakfast? You can really eat it anytime.
Yeah, this could be lunch or dinner, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nice and warm.
Yes, the warm thing is very important in herbalism as well. So I appreciate that. And so my final question for you would be, where do you see your practice going? What's next for you? And how can people learn more and get in touch with you?
Thank you for that. At this moment, again, I mostly did one-on-ones. Now I am opening up a group for clients as well as the practitioner. So that's where we are going to grow as my brand. Again, I'm planning to train a few practitioners in the beginning, exactly what I've been doing, what has been working, and continuously stay on top of the game. Gut microbiome research is evolving. We get information on a daily basis. So I love the fact I love passionate practitioners. So that's who I'm going to welcome into my practice as someone that loves it the same way or similar way that I do.
Love it so much. And what's the best way for people to contact you?
That's super easy. Digestivereset.com is my website, and you could contact me from there. You could send me quick messages. You could email me from there. You could schedule an appointment from there. You could upload my free books from there. I have 2 best-selling books available for free as a download from that website, digestivereset.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll have all of that in the show notes. And if you're watching this live from Facebook, we'll put some extra links that are time sensitive down below. So make sure to check all those out and take advantage of the gifts that Dr. Ina is offering. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom with us today. And I wish you a great day ahead.
Thank you so much for being here. You're welcome next on my show.
Thank you. I will take you up on that. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Holistic Pharmacy Podcast. I truly hope you enjoyed listening to this episode as much as we enjoyed creating it. If you learned something new from it, I'd love if you could leave us a 5-star review and share it with a friend who might love it too. You can find me on any of the podcast and social media platforms by looking up Holistic Pharmacist or Dr. Marina Buksov. Thank you for your support and see you next time.